Democrats, the state was so reluctant to talk about how they hired the graders of the tests, how they went about analyzing the results. I think we need a more clear. Education is such an important issue. We need a clear path and a clear way to get into a situation, analyze what's working, what's not working, improve upon and continue with what's working, and then what's not working, either scrap it all together and throw it out, or come up with a solution to raise the bar of education in this state.
Thank you. We are now down to our fourth and final round of questions. Joan Pines, please, your question.
Living in Florida has become more expensive, especially for low-income wage earners. If elected, what would be your positions on raising the state's minimum wage, as well as the state taking the lead in affordable workforce housing?
I want to take a few steps back and look at in the past 2 years, both the House and the Senate in Florida have introduced a new definition of someone who's impoverished, and they have an extremely low-income family and a low-income family. An extremely low-income family is defined as someone who earns 30% of the median salary, and a low-income family is someone who there's a formula associated with it, and it has to do with 3 times the amount of what it costs to feed your family. Regardless, to me, someone who's struggling and someone who is unable to provide for their family, I don't believe that the fault lies within the individual. I'm a firm believer that we have to work to create opportunities for these people. One of the easiest fixes for this is to raise the minimum wage. And most employers, if you talk to them, they don't pay the lower rung of their workers the minimum wage. They're paying them $9 or $10 an hour. And there's absolutely no reason why we can't raise that. So I fully support an initiative that would raise the minimum wage.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Rosemary Goudreau.
I wonder if you can tell us what it's like to run for office as a newcomer. Here you are running up against somebody who's an incumbent, who again doesn't have the desire to appear in a forum like this where the public can ask questions. What is it like running against Trey Treviso?
Well, before I got into this, I had very different expectations about what it was going to be like. And since I've undertaken this task, I've done a lot of stumping and gone door to door in many different areas. The district is very diverse. The graphic that I'm hoping they put up showed you that it started in Hyde Park. It included parts of Channelside, Davis Island, Harbor Island. It wrapped around McKay Bay, the north part of the port, Riverview, Gibsonton. It goes all the way out to Fishhawk Ranch, Lithia, parts of Brandon, Mango, and Seffner. The people that I'm trying to understand their concerns about, they all have very different issues and very different concerns. And one thing that amazes me is that although when I knock on their door and ask them what they want to change, they're very forthcoming in telling me this is issue number 1 for me, this is issue number 2 for me, but they have absolutely no faith in state government's ability to solve those problems. I'm a hard worker. Knowing a lot about the issues, and that's what I'm going to take with me to Tallahassee. And I would really be honored to represent them, and state government can solve these problems. If they can, no one else can.
Thank you. Our final question today will come from Kathy Betancourt. Ms. Betancourt?
Well, you piqued my curiosity, so I'm going to cross off my last question and ask you to follow up on the last question that you just had, and that is, you said when you knock on the people's doors, they say, this is issue number 1, this is issue number 2, this is issue number 3. What was issue number 1, issue number 2, issue number 3? What are you hearing about when you're out stumping in the neighborhoods?
It's very different depending on what precinct I'm in. it ranges, we've really covered everything that everyone has ever told me about number one. Sometimes it's transportation, sometimes it's education, sometimes it's the environment, other times it's the tax. Find out what your number one need is. You can contact me at my website. It's electleynelson.com. There's a contact you back. I'll learn from you. We'll exchange ideas. To me, that's what state government is supposed to be, and I'll do my best to fill that role.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. We're now ready for the candidate's final statement. Candidate Lee Nelson will have up to 1 minute. Mr. Nelson, your closing remarks, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and give you some information about who I am and where I stand on the issues. My opponent, who did not show up today, continually touts his conservative values, and he believes that he speaks for the majority of the people in District 56, and I disagree with that stance. He was the chairman of Pasco, Hillsborough, Pinellas Committee to elect Tom Gallagher. I think that speaks a lot. I'm a moderate. I'm a Democrat. I care about the environment. I care about making tomorrow better than it is today. The future that I want to create in Florida is there. It's obtainable, but I don't think we're on the right path to get there. I would be honored if you would vote me in to be your representative for District 56, and I will do my very best to get us to the future that I envision we can be at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. 6. Your vote counts. Participate in the November 7th general election and make a difference.